In this tutorial we're going to take a look at doing disbursements. A disbursement is a special type of expense transaction that is done by property managers. As a property manager, you manage properties on behalf of other property owners, and at the end of the month or every 2 weeks, or however often you choose to do it, you have to pay money to those property owners and also subtract your management fee out. So if you're a landlord, then you probably won't be doing disbursements, but if you're a property manager, then you will need to. So I'm going to go and take a look. First of all, if we go to owners, I'm going to take a look at one of my owners here. If we go to the disbursement tab, up here we set the management fee percentage that we want to retain. So I've got mine set up as 10% including tax, which is 8.7% excluding tax. What I can also do is have a fixed fee. If we don't do a percentage, we might want to do a fixed fee. I can do that as well. And I can actually do both like I have here. I've got 10% plus 100 as my management fee. Now normally you do one or the other, although some people sometimes do an admin fee of about $5 every month to cover postage or something like that, so you might want to do $5 plus 10%. But for this example I'm just going to leave it at 0, just a straight 10% management fee. So now if I do a disbursement to that owner, I'll choose disbursements. There's actually two ways of doing disbursements, the easy way and the hard way. I'm going to start off doing the hard way. We'll just choose the add button. We'll come back and show you the easy way later. Now we select the owner. I'm going to choose this owner 1. Now down in this box here it gives us a summary. It says our last disbursement. We've never actually done our last disbursement. This is our first disbursement to this particular owner. The income since the last disbursement, expenses since the last disbursement. Now you've got income less expenses is that number there. Our fee, which is 10% of the income, so 10% of that number there gives us that number. And we could also do something called extra fees if we want to charge fees for additional services. But I haven't got any of those set up. There's a separate tutorial on extra fees. So with those numbers, the total fee is down here at 131, which is that number there, and the total amount that we are going to pay back to the owner is that number, which is calculated as this number here, 1260, less our fee is the amount to be paid to the property owner. If we go over to this tab here, the transactions tab, like we see these numbers here and we wonder how are those numbers calculated. We go to the transaction tab. This shows us the transactions that make up those numbers. So you can see there's a repair, that's our $50 expense, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 income transactions, and if we add those two together, those 4 together, we'll get that number there. So that's how, if you're wondering how these numbers are calculated, you can take a look at the transactions over here. There's one more thing down here called a reserve. Now I'll just take it, if we just cancel this for now, if we go back to our owner again, what we can do on the disbursement tab is we can set a reserve amount. Now a reserve amount is an amount that we want to retain out of the next disbursement. Like let's say that we have a repair coming up for a property and we're going to have a bill due early in the month. We want to be able to have enough money retained to be able to pay it. So we might choose to retain 500. So I can put 500 in there as a reserve amount required. If I save that, and now I go back and do that same disbursement to that same owner again, we can see down here it's now filled in that reserve amount of 500, and you'll see the amount to pay to the owner has been reduced by that 500. So the amount now to pay to the owner is the income less expenses, 1260, less the management fee, less the reserve amount equals that amount there. I'll just cancel this. Like let's say now that we have paid those repairs and we no longer need that reserve amount, we can then go back to the owner and change this back to 0 again, and the next time we do a disbursement, that 500 that we had previously retained will be given back. So it's a way of temporarily holding back some money and then at a later stage change the reserve amount back to 0 to give that money back. Now I said there was an easy and a hard way of doing disbursements. If now we do the easy way, If we choose add bulk instead of the add button, choose add bulk, we enter in the date and the bank account, and it's automatically calculated all the disbursements for all of our owners. In this case we've got 2 of them. So there's our owner 1 again. You can see the same fee amount's been calculated, the tax amount, the amount to pay to the owner is exactly the same as before. And in fact, if we click on owner 1 here, it takes us to the exact same detail screen that we saw before. So again, we can take a look at the transactions and see how that amount was calculated. So this is the quick way of creating disbursements. So I'll do that again. The quick way of creating disbursements, just press add bulk, select the date, enter the bank account, and then press commit. And that will create all our disbursements for all our owners. So it's automatically calculated the fee, it's automatically calculated the amount to be paid to the owner. There's nothing really much we have to do. Just press the add bulk button and then commit. Once you've done this, you'll probably want to go off and print some reports. For example, you might want to print the owner transaction summary report. That's a report suitable for sending to your property owners so that they can see how much fee they've been charged and how much they expect to be paid. So that is how you create disbursements.